Today on Us Weekly's reality recap, Tom Schwartz reacts to the drama between Katie Maloney and Chyna Shah.
It doesn't matter who Katie hooks up with or would have hooked up with. Like,
I have something to tell you.
Plus, we're breaking down Carl and Kyle's messy work situation as Maya sets the record straight on her friendship with Lindsay.
No one that I'm on good terms with calls me a liar. So I think that's where things are getting a little bit rough now.
We've got that plus so much more on today's reality recap. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy Camp, and welcome to another big week of reality recap. We got the Toms sitting down and setting the record straight with us.
Yes, looking forward to that. That was crazy drama between Chyna and Katie this week that we got. I mean, wasn't really expecting that.
No, wasn't really expecting that either, but we've got a lot to say about it. Before we get to all of it, we have to check in and see what you guys had to say about last week's show.
All right. Annie said, the younger new people are kind of annoying. I hope they keep the original cast of Summer House going forward. Also, why text someone that's sober asking if they want to smoke weed? It seems a little inconsiderate. Couldn't agree with you more, Annie, on both of those accounts. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like the younger cast, like I said last week, it seems like they're transitioning to this younger cast on Summer House, but it doesn't really work when the viewers are there for the old cast. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, at what point does the old cast retire? Because they're all in relationships or whatever. I mean, but then again, look at Vanderpump. Now it's like back and better than ever because they all broke up, which, you know, good for us, bad for them. I don't know.
I don't know. But it's kind of strange it's just, at least at Vanderpump, they're all around the same age. This just seems like there's so much like kind of a disconnect, even though Kyle still parties harder than them, all of them.
100%. But also Vanderpump did try to do this a few years ago, if you remember, with Charlie, and I don't even remember their names anymore because, wow, good job. Good job.
Yes, thank you.
Because they were, you know, it didn't work.
No, it didn't, because we're so invested in these people's stories. Like, we don't need the new people. Well, Natalie says on Bravo or not on Bravo, I'm a fan of Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz for life.
Same.
So are we.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And I still want to see Tom Sandoval and the extras play. So if they could please come to Mississippi, I will be in the front row.
Seriously, he's got a really good voice. I really like it.
He really does. Mm-hmm. Let us know in the comments if you guys think Tom Sandoval has a good voice. I think it's fantastic.
I think it's great. All right, well, let's continue talking about Vanderpump, because this was the big news of the week, the drama between Katie and Chyna. Katie released a series of text messages between she and Chyna after Chyna claimed that she was in support of Tom Schwartz hooking up with Raquel. So she wrote, back in May, after we spoke in Vegas, I told Chyna I wasn't down for this shit, so keep going with this diabolical nonsense. Well, Chyna allegedly wrote, you literally told me in Vegas that you want Tom to move on because it'll make it easier for you because you had already, and you encouraged me to push him to move on. Katie wrote, I was pretty clear that I didn't mean or co-sign this, so why go through with this? She further alleged that Chyna went out of her way to encourage Tom and Raquel to hook up amid his divorce from Katie. I mean, we see this in the show this week, so it happened. I mean, it does seem like Chyna really was pushing for this hard.
Yeah, it seems like Sheena's stirring the pot a bit. But if she really had that conversation with Katie where Katie was like, I want him to hook up with other people, then okay. Chyna is friends with all of them, so puts her in a little bit of a tricky spot there. I lean towards Sheena's side on this one, just because I was like, I feel like it's fair game. If Katie's hooking up with other people, whether it's just making out, as she says, or more, then he should be allowed to hook up with other people too. I guess it's tricky because it's in the friend group.
Right. It's in the friend group. It really is. So I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more when we break it all down, but we heard from Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz themselves to see where they kind of stand in this whole big mess. So take a look.
There seems to be some beef between Katie and Chyna, and it's about the fact that Chyna tried to set you up with Raquel.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about all of this?
Well, she was told by Katie to set Schwartz up with Raquel. Yeah.
So what is your reaction to that?
I mean, if you ask for chocolate milk and somebody gets you chocolate milk, like, and you're mad at them, like, you asked for it. You know what I mean? Like, she literally asked for it. She told Chyna, like, I encourage you to do that. I'm doing my thing. I'm having fun.
I think she maybe said it. Hey, I don't know. But But yeah.
I'm curious, do both of you consider Chyna to be a good friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's a solid friend.
So you don't think she was just stirring the pot?
No, she was not. She was, and once she found that out, she kind of like stopped. But she was told that. It was at the Vanderpump rules. It was at the Vanderpump Paris opening party.
Okay, so we'll see that play out.
That happened before we were filming this season, but yes, you will see this next episode sort of like where that came from.
Yeah. On some level, like I can appreciate it. We did make like this sort of very informal pact to not hook up with anyone from the group, but I don't know how much merit I put in that. Like if the roles were reversed, it doesn't matter who Katie hooks up with or would have hooked up with. Like,
well, I have something to tell you.
I knew it. I knew it. A lot of F-bombs for me today. Feels good, though.
They defend Chyna, so, I'm not.
So they are on Team Chyna on this one. Sorry, Katie. All right. Well, let's break down this week's episodes and kick it off with Summer House.
Well, we see Maya confront Lindsay about her text messages with Carl, which we've talked about at length. Do you think the texts were out of line? I feel like we've already discussed this, but
yeah, I do. I feel like the texts were out of line. He is sober and continuing to work on himself. And, it is kind of strange to be texting somebody's boyfriend when you're sitting right next to them to hang out and not asking her. So it was a little weird. But we did talk to Maya about this whole thing and found out where she stands with Lindsay today. Take a look. Looking back on it, do you think it was wrong to reach out to Carl about smoking weed when he was sober? Or
I don't think that the conversation I had with Lindsay in the car was not about the weed. So the narrative of his coming at his sobriety, that's very new to me. That's all been kind of created with the show. So that was not the conversation that was had there. If anything, it was a suggestion of overstepping boundaries in terms of wanting her boyfriend or wanting him in a sexual manner. She did say at one point in the car, why would he come to your hotel room and smoke with you? And I was like, who said anything about a hotel room? We're in California. We don't need to go in a hotel room. So that's just what it is.
Yeah. If tables were turned and she was texting your boyfriend about doing something like that, would you see that a problem if you were Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think that if you want to talk about boundaries, there have been times where boundaries or Oliver has told me that he wasn't necessarily comfortable in some situations that Lindsay put him in, but I was secure in my relationship then, and that didn't faze me really. So I think it's been blown way out of proportion in terms of coming for the sobriety, and then just all the very big buzzwords that are being thrown around. It wasn't like that.
Right. It's interesting because I spoke to Carl and Lindsay not too long ago, and they said that you are on good terms with them. But it sounds like from what you've said, maybe not the best of terms, since you want to kind of support them from a distance. Is that fair to say?
I don't have a relationship with Carl, so I wouldn't even speak about Carl. I think with Lindsay, we did have a great end to the summer. I think that we started to understand each other a little bit more. Recently, watching the press, seeing what she's saying, basically calling me a liar. No one that I'm on good terms with calls me a liar. So I think that's where things are getting a little bit rough now.
All right. Well, now that we know where they are, let's move on to Kyle and Carl, because the tension is through the roof. Yes. And it escalated to even more because Carl left town, didn't tell people at Loverboy that he was leaving, and people were not happy. And then Kyle kind of just flips out and kind of spills all about this. Did you feel like Kyle took it a little too far with this one?
I think it's obviously it all boils down to money. That's what it sounds like, right? So I feel like they were paying Carl an amount that to them was a lot of money. But to Carl, who's now a Bravo celebrity for several years, he feels like he could be making more money elsewhere or, for another brand or for his own brand maybe one day. So I don't know. I understand Kyle and Amanda's side. I feel like he didn't maybe appreciate it. I do think that Lindsay had a huge say in this behind, the scenes. I don't know. I'm Team Kyle on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand. Like, you're the boss and you are frustrated that, your employee just skipped town and didn't tell anybody. But I did think maybe he took it too far when he was like, Kyle was coked out, went to work, and like, he's working so hard on himself to try to like be a better person, and to just kind of throw that into his face. Maybe not the best friendship move, but it goes to show like maybe it's not good to mix business with friendships, because I don't know about this one. I don't think that they're ever going to get back to the place that they once were.
No, I feel like this happens with all these shows. It's like, unless you're like Tom and Tom, who are, ride or die, these shows are going to get the best of you, especially mixing business now with the show. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, business as a whole, there's, if money is involved, that brings out a whole new side of people.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Well, I found a quote of the night from Summer House, and it went to Paige. She said, "Do you want to hear something crazy? Craig has never admitted to me when he's pooped. He's also never farted in front of me." I wonder if that's changed.
Yeah, who knows? That, what an odd relationship.
I did appreciate her saying, everybody's being like, oh, now that you're 30, you've been dating Craig for a little while now, giving her the pressure to get married. And she's basically telling everybody to F off, and whatever they're doing is working for them. But it's like, how long can a relationship like that be sustainable when you're, just traveling back and forth if you want to take the next step? So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out for the two of them.
Yeah, and we also just saw that Danielle from Summer House announced that she broke up with her boyfriend, which shocked me, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were going for the long haul, and that was because of distance, because he was working at a restaurant in Colorado and dating her in New York. Obviously didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
Every couple's different, but long distance is hard.
It's hard. Yeah. You in the beginning, it's fun because you got to get your freedom and, kind of do what you want. But when you want to take that next step, somebody's got to make the move, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with these two. But all right, let's move on over to Vanderpump. What did you think of Raquel saying that she's still in love with James?
Oof, this poor girl. I feel bad for Raquel. I mean, she's hurting. She's very much a girl who has a broken off engagement, whether or not she wanted to break it off. It's a very hard thing, I think, to see that James has moved on so quickly. Mm-hmm. Didn't realize she still loved him, though.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you tend to forget that this was actually a real relationship and that they were going to get married. She envisioned the rest of her life with this guy. But yeah, he moved. And I'm sure it hurts for her to see him move on so quickly and being like, I'm with this person who I love so much. And it definitely feels like to me that James still has some sort of feelings for Raquel too. Otherwise, he wouldn't get so upset about certain things. And I still feel like there are some feelings there on his part, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do you think him and Allie are going to make it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like he wants so bad to be in like a serious relationship. Yeah. And I think he wanted to like move on so quickly and be like, I'm okay. I don't need you. And I feel like, unfortunately for Allie, I think she was more of like a rebound. But maybe they'll prove me wrong. Yeah, but that conversation between Raquel, Lala, and Katie, when Raquel admits that she would make out with Tom, it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen.
Okay, like why were the three of them ever getting lunch together? Because clearly they hate each other. Like Lala hooked up with James while he was with Raquel. Mm-hmm. They should not be friends. They should not be at lunch together. And then Katie or Raquel saying that she would make out with Tom to Katie, his ex-fiance. It was such a weird triangle of friends that are not friends.
That are not friends. Like my jaw was on the floor. Like, how could you actually admit this to somebody?
No, it was so funny, I think.
It was so funny. It was really great. But like Katie's like, is this for real happening right now? Like I just haven't even signed the divorce papers and you're talking about making out with my husband.
Oh my God. It was ridiculous. Which brings me to the next ridiculous thing, the sandwich shop. I mean, at what point do we say that's enough, Bravo celebrities? Like, we don't all need a business.
We don't.
Like, what authority do they have to make sandwiches? Right. They're not chefs. They're not like even, I've never even seen them cook on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know about
foodie. Like I mean, I guess I guess Kody used to work in like obviously she used to work in restaurants, but still
No.
not a sandwich connoisseur by
The
any
tour
means.
of the place that they were looking at was so ridiculous too. They were like, "Oh, a shelf could go there." I'm like, "Wow, revolutionary, guys."
Sign him up for HGTV.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like seriously.
Oh,
No,
I
but you're
can't.
right. I mean, like we don't all need a
Restaurant.
a side business.
Yeah, a side hustle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just drop a liberty and post on Instagram and get paid for it.
Seriously. And then, like we said, the whole Chyna versus Kody drama. I do kind of agree that I think Chyna is like, all right, somebody's fresh off a breakup. Let's get him on the podcast and let's talk about it. Like she is like, I see this opportunity. I appreciate the hustle on that respect. But yeah, I mean, I think I would be kind of pissed off if I was Kody that like she went to Tom so soon afterwards and being like, why are you capitalizing on his vulnerability right now? I did understand that, but you know, if Kody did say that, you know, she was okay with it, then she was okay with it at some point.
I know. You're right, though, to your point, like about Chyna capitalizing on this. It does feel a little weird that it's happening, like they're capitalizing off each other. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to go to Us Weekly and do an interview, but it's another thing that like your friend is doing the interview in your apartment and like you don't, know what she's going to ask. And
like his boxes from his move aren't even unpacked yet. Like, so we haven't even ripped the Band-Aid off and you're like talking to me all about this. So I did kind of feel. Go ahead.
Also, Tom is the one who said, let's go back to Raquel in the conversation. So
that is true.
Mostly because he didn't want to talk about the divorce anymore. But
right. Yeah. I think Tom knows how to stir the pot as well. They both know what they're doing. I mean, Tom, like Raquel posted that photo with Tom at Schwartz and Sandy's. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to get good press. They know how to get people talking. This isn't their first rodeo. They've been doing this for 10 seasons. They know.
Yeah. He did talk to us about that photo and he basically was like, it was not, with ill intent, but I'm also not stupid. I'm not naive. And I know if I'm doing the show for this many seasons that's going to cause a stir.
Totally. It just so happens that the photo came out the day that Vanderpump Rules is airing, or the day before. Like people know.
Yeah.
You're not going to fool us, Tom.
No. I'm fooling.
All right. All right. Well, let's move on over to our social spotlight. Mine goes to Bravo by Betches. They posted a photo of Kyle with the, quote about Carl saying he showed up one day so coked out he didn't bring his computer to work. Well, Chrissy Teigen waited and she commented saying the best part is that you would expect something really crazy to come after the first part, but it was just that he didn't bring his laptop. LOL. I thought the same thing. I was like, what's going to happen? What did he do? But no, he just didn't bring his laptop.
All right. Mine goes to the girls of Summer House. They posted this bikini selfie, all looking super smoking hot, captioning it, you can sit with us, which very sweet. These girls have sick bodies.
Seriously. I wish I got paid to just go to the beach and drink all summer and spend time in the Hamptons.
I would look like that too.
Seriously. Must be nice. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Reality Recap. Let us know whose side are you on? Are you on Team Kody, Team Chyna? We would love to see what you guys have to say about that. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.